So I want to introduce something to you I've never presented in the history. Georgie, my wife's never even seen me present this, so it's totally new. And it's about how, so I did not create this particular piece. This was created in 1952, but I'm your teacher and mentor today on it. So grab your pieces of paper. Some people may have bumped into this, most won't. It's called the Johari window. What's it called, everyone? Johari window. The Johari window. Funny name, innit? I mean, if you think about that, guess why it's called the Johari window? Because Joe and Harry created it, and they called it the Johari window. Okay, so there you go. So the Johari window looks at people, looks at personal development and growth. So I'm going to go through this now. So down here, or across the horizontal, you're going to write I see. What is the first part here? I see, and the second part here, down here on the vertical, is you see. What's the second part? So if I see something in myself, right, if I see a problem, if I see an opportunity, and you see it, okay, we both have line sight on what the problem or the opportunity is. Does that make sense? Okay, so this part here, in terms of the Johari window, we call the arena. What do we call it? The arena. Because I can see it, you can see it, we've all got line sight on it. Okay? So up in this box up here, up the top side, I don't see is what you're going to write. I don't see. Does that make sense? So other people see, you see it in me, but I can't see it. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, so here, I'm just going to give you a little thing, right? So if you think about this, I now have something on my forehead. What have I got on my forehead, everyone? I've got a red dot. But can I see that? The answer is no. Okay, so if you think about this, a lot of people are going through their world, their business, their life, where other people can see stuff in them, but they don't see it. This little red dot here that every single person in this room has is called, what do you think? It's called a blind spot, I agree. What's it called, everyone? So it's a blind spot. One of the fundamental reasons I think that coaching works is because there's all these red dots on people's foreheads, yet there's no real coaching. You need someone external from you to give you feedback on stuff that you can't see. Okay, if you don't have people in your corner giving you feedback, you're going to grow, yes or no? No, you're not. Okay, so that's why you need to have people in your corner. You think right now about your life. Go back and think about the people that have been mentoring you throughout your life. This could have started, for most people, it would have started with who's the first mentors that we have? Okay, did you get feedback from your parents on different blind spots that you had, or guardians, or whoever brought you up along the road on things that you could not see in yourself? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, have you had sports coaches, other co-curricular coaches along the way giving you harsh feedback, giving you the blind spot? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, good. So everyone then knows about this blind spot. So my question is to you, what's your blind spot right now? What's your red dot? What's your red dot in your business? What's your red dot in your personal life? Get thinking on that one. Now, when you get feedback, this is going to decrease. So I'm going to talk about how to do that in a little bit, but everyone's got a red dot in this room. Everyone make sense on that one? Say yeah. Okay, so down here, we've got the second part of this is you don't see. you don't see. Does that make sense? So down here, so if I see something, I know something in myself, right, but you don't see it in me. Down here, we call this the mask. What do we call it? Something I'm hiding from sharing to the outside world. Let me give you an example. Coaching a guy about 10 years ago, pretty much to the day, good business, and we're going along, and he wasn't getting great results in his business. Business is an okay business, but profits were good one month, not great the next. Good one month, and I was sort of I kept asking him, is there something else going on, something else going on, something else going on? Finally, he ends up calling me and was in tears down the phone. It said, look, I need an emergency meeting with me. And I sort of said to him, what do you feel like expressing? And he coughed up to me that for the last probably 12 months and 6 months of my coaching, he'd had another business that he'd not told me on. Right, so he'd gone in, he'd borrowed money out of his house, he'd gone in on another business. You know those big TV screens that you see like on sports stadiums and outside like car dealerships, etc. Those big pimped out video screens. He'd gone into a business. He'd partnered up with someone in China, and he was going to get rich based on this. And the only problem is he just decided to do what? He was masking that. He'd never told anyone about it. He was afraid of something, whether I was going to judge him or whatever. But he basically left it to the last minute until literally all the business was not going the way that he had wanted it to. And guess what happened to that gentleman about a month after that coaching session? He hit the wall, right? He went bankrupt. And that's because, he had tried to mask something. So for a lot of us, we've got stuff we're sitting on that we don't really want anyone else to know. Does that make sense? So we then end up putting a mask on. We don't want to disclose this. Does that make sense, everyone? So interestingly, when I look at a lot of our group sessions, a lot of our one-on-one sessions, people who have been with me a long time, is slowly but surely they kind of get rid of the mask. They get rid of the story. I just said something important. What did I just say? They get rid of the story. Okay, this story that we tell the world, we kind of get rid of. We rip that away and then can tell the truth to someone. Hey, I got a problem here. Hey, I really am not great in this area of my business, rather than trying to cover that up. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay, good. So down here is the mask. So over here is I don't see it and you don't see it. This part here we call the future. What do we call that? The future. So if you think about this, I'm going to go over to this flip chart over here. If you think about most people when they start their coaching journey with me, right? If this is the Johari window, I won't write all the actual fact. I'm going to redo that. This is the Johari window. Where do you think this looks, those particular vertical and horizontal axis? Well, I'll tell you. Their arena looks about this. Okay, so there's normally a bit of masking, there's a story, and the defensiveness on feedback is down here. So this is the arena in that particular section. Does that make sense, everyone? A, you don't want the feedback, and B, there's a mask as well. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, good. So here's what you want to do. Actually, I'll go back over here. This is what you want to do if you want to get super successful. Who wants super success in your life? Okay, so what you want to do is you want to move this horizontal axis to the right. Which way do I want to move it? To the right. Okay, I want to move it that way. And to do that, there's only one way that you can do that. That says listen. What's the word, everyone? Listen. So when the feedback comes and you want to push back on something, or hey, now I'm going to tell you a story, okay, is that going to help you? Yes or no? Okay, the better way is just to listen. Okay, so we've got a rule with some of the programs I teach, board of directors being one of them. The best way to do feedback, when feedback comes your way from people that are in your corner, that are going to give you feedback, is to do a little thing that I'm about to do, which is this, is you get your pen and you just say this. When the feedback comes, you just go, Everyone do that. Grab a pen. Do it with me now. What are you going to do when the feedback comes? That's good. Even though everything in your body wants to tell a story, and Bruce, you don't know, hang on, let me just justify a point, let me just correct you, now I'm not listening. Okay, so to drop the banner and do more listening will move this axis right here that away, so that there is less of a what, everyone? Less of a blind spot. So, in your life, I'm now going to start in the personal side of your life. Where do you got to do more listening in your personal side? What's the feedback from kids that you're now not listening to? What's the feedback from spouse, partner, life partner, whatever that looks, that you're not listening on? Parents, other people, friends. What do we got to listen more to? I love what Chris said yesterday. There's hearing. Here's a great quote from Chris White from yesterday. He said this, I wrote it down. It was an awesome quote. He said, most people are hearing, not truly listening. I'll just say that again. Most people are hearing, not truly listening. I love that quote. So in your personal life, what's some areas right now that you got to do more listening? Shut up, stop the defense, and truly listen to the feedback, whatever that is. Okay, really interested. I'll get two people on either microphone. Who wants to share what you're needing to listen to more in personal life? What do we got to do to move this particular vertical axis here to the right? Who's going to jump up on the microphone? All right. Patrick, we'll start with you, mate. Who are you?
I'm Patrick from King IT. So one thing Bruce says to us at the beginning of every board, and I think it's really pertinent for this, is how can you ask a better question? So it's not necessarily who we listen to, it's how we prime ourselves getting ready to listen. And if we blurt out statements or advice, we're never going to be listening to what people say, whereas if we frame it as a question, at least we're ready to listen.
It's great advice. And what do you got to do, Patrick, to do more listening in your personal life, man?
Do I have to ask more questions, Bruce?
You got to ask more questions.
Yep.
More clarifying questions.
More clarifying questions.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Anything else you'd like to share on that?
Charlie,
To who? To who?
To my team and to Charlie and to my customers, to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a culprit where one person, just stay in, don't leave business off to the side in terms of personal? Is there someone that you got to do more on personally?
Yeah, me.
So you got to listen to yourself more. Is that what you're saying?
No. I think there's certainly I've got to do a lot more with my team leaders like Daniel and Ryan.
Leave business.
Oh yeah.
Leave business. I'll say it again, Pat.
Yep.
Go to personal.
Yeah, maybe I have to listen to myself and ask myself a better question.
Okay. How does that relate to people around you? Because the challenge is on blind spot is normally it's an external force that's going to move this here by listening better. Okay, so it's listening better to who?
To myself.
Okay, so you'll think it's yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Give him a hand. Well done. Scott?
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Who are you?
My name's Scott. We've got a caravan park and casino in northern New South Wales. This is our first time here, so thank you everybody for what you've shared so far. It's been very valuable already. With communication, I think if I'm starting to hear things which I don't want to hear, in my better moments, I remind myself that the person that's telling me has my interests at heart. And so it's a way of reframing it, I suppose, that makes it easier for me to hear what's going on.
So did I also hear in amongst that around trust, is trusting others to give the feedback? Did I hear that or not?
Oh, it'd be an element of it, yeah.
Okay, who do you need to trust more?
Well, I don't really know, I don't understand. There's an element of self-trust, I suppose,
Okay.
that I'm able to change. The other thing that I think is important with these sorts of communications is to reflect back what you've heard to the person that's telling you, so you make sure that you're understanding.
It's a great way.
Sometimes you hear what you want to hear. So.
Such a good point. So Scott just said is a repeat back, it's called validation, guys. What's it called, everyone? A validating tool is to say, just so I can hear you correctly, you're saying, Bob, Mary, A, B and C. Is that what you're saying to me? Yes. Okay. Then you could go, okay, yeah, okay, rather than doing that and then doing a defence on the back end of that. Okay, because people, once they know a little bit about this, they're very good at kind of tricking people that they're truly listening. So what you're telling me, Bob, is A, B and C. Is that what you're telling me, Bob? Yeah, now look, I can't do any of that shit, man. That won't work, right? And we just go into a defensive mode rather than going, hey, what's this person truly trying to tell me? Okay, so it's a really good point.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if you reflect back to people, they think, hey, they're listening to me, this person's listening to me.
Yeah.
It just becomes a cycle. So it becomes a better conversational round.
Okay, awesome. Give him a hand, thank you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Greg from Harriman Mechanical. I need to listen to my wife a lot more. It's interesting how often the feedback that Kirsty gives me can sometimes be very similar to what I get from different quarters of my board or from Bruce, and yet it's okay to accept that information from my board, yet when my wife gives it to me I get defensive. So I need to be less defensive and open up and you know, understand that she knows me a whole lot better than maybe sometimes I'd like to admit.
That's awesome, well said, give him a hand. So I'll just say a quick point on that before Lee has a go, is if you think about it, it's really cool when you're in kind of a coaching environment. We're in a seminar, we're in a workshop to do, hey, I'm going to do the feedback and But then we go home and then throw all that out and then we go back to defensiveness and you don't understand, honey, and what have you. Who's ever done that? Okay, is you got all jacked up in here, but then you go home and you go below the line and you should be putting $2. Most people probably need to install this system in at home. Not so much in the coaching environment, it's kind of policed there. All right, good stuff. Who are you?
Hi everyone, I'm Lee. My husband and I have A. Rowley & Sons, a construction company here in Caloundra. Patience, probably more so with myself, but yeah, with everyone around me. And I've had feedback about that for probably my whole life. So.
Okay, so just
Big one.
you're saying you're going to move this more vertically just through patience to maybe slow the velocity. Did I hear that? No.
Yeah, slow the velocity, my reaction, my defensiveness, but also patience with other people, knowing, you know, in my personal and work and team, that they need to do things at their pace, not necessarily mine, which is usually quite fast, full speed.
Very good. Give her a hand, everyone. So just everyone, please raise your hand if you're a person that normally wants a fair amount of velocity. You kind of want things done pretty damn quick, and if it's not done quick, you know, hey. So does that impede your ability to listen? Yes or no? Yeah, absolutely. So we need to be doing a better job in that area. Excellent stuff. Who are you, sir?
Yeah, g'day everyone. I'm Jamie from King Trust. I need to listen to what I neglect, and I think I get stuck in a thing of business comes first, and perhaps the family drops off, and it gets neglected. And it's clear my wife, my kids need me more, and I should be listening to that.
It's really good. Which part of that family? Is there a
Mate.
certain person, or is it just a general? Generic?
No, my immediate family, wife and kids, you know, they're growing up quick and you miss out, so
I miss out.
I miss out.
Thank you. So what's your goal on neglect?
Fix it, leverage, time, think time,
Specifically?
calendarise, mark it out, chop it, it's done, getting it to that point, which we're right in the middle
You're
of.
nearly there.
Yep.
When are you going to finish that?
We got this weekend, we've actually got a week booked holiday, so that's 2 weeks, and starting then,
Okay.
time.
It's a really great point. Give him a hand, everyone. Please raise your hand by looking at Jamie just then that you're Jamie. Please raise your hand. Okay, good. So if you think about this, guys, if you don't, this is another principle I teach called law of vacuum. I won't go and teach it now because we're going to go over the break. What's it called, everyone? Law of vacuum. Law of vacuum very simply states is if I don't block time, if I don't block it out, the world will come in and do what? Take it, steal it, okay? So if I don't block, okay, it's not going to get done. So if you were Jamie just then, here's maybe your takeout of this conference. Is if you don't block it, I'm going to steal a phrase from a good mate of mine. If you don't, if you're going to rock it, you got to block it. Or if you block it, you rock it. Okay, if you block your calendar, you're going to rock the world. So the way that, I have a problem on this doing what I do. Okay, with all the moving parts, with everything that Georgie and I do, if we don't block that, there's going to be a neglect. And I've had feedback, 5-10 years ago from the kids where when I truly listened, it was, hey Dad, why are you away so much? So I had to make a shift, I had to make a change. Okay, the way that we do it is we go and block time. If you look at my diary now for the next 18 months, we know exactly how many days we're going to go from the holidays. Here's the list, guys. I'm giving you the coaching tips. Here they are. There's a block out of time. Okay, I promise you I could go and get Adam I won't do it, to bring up my diary here and whack it on. I can tell you exactly how many days that we've got this Christmas, the following Christmas. That means 2018 going into 19. Okay, that's all blocked. Okay, so that nothing can get into that. So holiday blocking is one. Here's another one. Who enjoys short breaks? Okay, good. Right, very simple. They're great. Who gets energized? If you have like a long weekend, that following week or 2 or 3, are you more energized and ready to go and punch the world? Please raise your hand if that's you. Good. So anyone who had their hand up, would it be a good idea to go and block it? Yes or no? Yeah, it would. Okay, we normally average about 4 or 5 a year where Friday or the Monday, etc., I'm not going to be working and that's blocked. There's a booking. Because, Jamie, this came out of your point, which was a stunning point, by the way, so that you're listening to the people that are giving you feedback in that area, if that is the feedback, would it be a good idea to go and point on our rules of the game here about number 6 on the rules of the game? What's number 6, everyone? Call it out. Complete your agreements. I promise you, my second daughter, Juliet, right, she's 10, going on about 20, but nonetheless, if I go and make an agreement with that soul, is she going to keep me accountable, yes or no? She's got like an elephant memory. Okay, so if I say to you, honey, we're going to do 2 weeks or 10 days or this weekend, It's the coolest thing. I love doing public accountability like that, and the best ones to do it with are the ones that are a little bit younger than us, because they're going to flog you to make sure you do that, okay? Does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah.
So we've got holiday blocking, we've got short break blocking. What do you got to do? Now, it could be blocking, hey, all right, I'm going to do Wednesday afternoon, or I'm going to do Friday soccer practice. Whatever that looks like, it could be a date night. Who goes on date nights? Who needs to go on date nights? Is that a good thing to go and block out? Yes or no? Yeah. Will it help your relationship? Yes or no? Yeah, it will. Okay? But if we don't, just finish the quote, if you don't block it, will you rock it? And the answer is no. Okay, see, whatever you block, you're going to do a better job on. So if that's the feedback that you're getting from the world of we need to listen more as it relates to time with people, good. Thank you, Jamie. Give him a hand on that one. Last one. I'm going to do him last. You're going to get a chance next, okay? Okay, good. Thank you. Righto, Ben.
I'll be quick. Ben from Freshbox, and it was like I was up here just for that talk, Bruiser, like you're talking just to me, because I've got the same issue as Jamie.
Okay.
I don't block it out, and actually taking action on that default diary, and also probably the main thing is the quality time with family, wife, kid. Yeah.
So let me ask you, thank you for mirroring.
Yeah.
So what's the agreements, Ben, that you got to make personally to make sure that that actually does happen?
Just it's about being honest with people. If I make an agreement with myself.
No, you'll let yourself off the hook, Ben. You've been doing it all your life. We all have, man.
Yeah.
That's why, guys, we need external accountability.
Right.
If you don't have external accountability, we are the worst ones at letting ourselves off the freaking hook. Please write that down. You can quote me. Who has done that? Where you just know you dogged it. Please keep 2 hands, Ben. Hallelujah, brother.
I dogged it.
Okay, so you is not a good one. That's why it's better when people hold your ass to account.
Yeah, and you're saying kids are great at it, right?
So Pacini is a good one, your son.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Is he gonna remember if you kind of make an agreement?
Everything.
Yeah, he's like my daughter, got an elephant of a memory. Yeah. Who else?
Georgie,
Thank you.
wife, also has a great memory.
I know.
Yeah.
Who else?
Who else? Coach Bruiser.
Thank you.
And myself, I guess. I can have all these people keeping me accountable, but really I've got to take responsibility, right?
Great, and a board. Yeah, Chingy's just giving you some.
Oh yeah, and the board. Thanks,
Yep.
Chingy.
Okay, I love it. Give him a hand, everyone. Well done. Thank you. So that's this vertical axis. We want to push it to the right. Is everyone cool with that? To minimise. Have I still got a red dot on my head? Okay, good. Isn't that interesting? No, it's all good. I promise you I will not be here tonight with a black tie on with this thing on my head. Okay, grab a pen, guys, because I'm going to roll this thing out here. So the arena basically gets pushed that away. Now you got to get the full benefit out of this is you got to take this horizontal line, you got to take that south. Okay, now to do that one, I'm going to draw it down the bottom here. You got to do this. What do you got to do? What do you got to do? You got to disclose. So to bring the mask down, we're listening over this side down here, we need to disclose more. I want you to write a word down. Vulnerable. What do you need to be? I got to be more vulnerable. So, we're going to do a little assignment on for the people that have got businesses or team members in the room, your job for the next 4 minutes is to work out how you can bring this down in yourself. Number one, please write that down. yourself. If you're about to buy a business, this is going to be important for you guys in the future. Yourself, and number 2, your team. How do you get more vulnerability in yourself and your team? How can you bring this horizontal axis down by disclosing more? How do you have more vulnerability in yourself and your team as it relates to the business? Does that make sense? Hello? Yep. Who's lost? No, we're all good. Okay. How do we create more vulnerability in your business as it relates to yourself and your team? Just hands in the air. What did you come up with on your tables? What did you come up with? Nick, down the back there, nice and loud.
Yeah, look, just accepting vulnerability as the leader in your team. You've got to own up to your own flaws and your own mistakes.
Yep.
When you do that,
When I
do that,
Thank you.
allows other people in the room to accept their own and be open with me as well.
Love that. So hang on. So that's coming from an ex-commando who's served the country over in Afghanistan, and so I think that you've earned the right to say that. Firstly, so being more vulnerable as the leader is what I heard. Give him a hand. Well done. Couple more hands, if you have. Yes, Kelly at the back. Really strong communication and whiffling. Okay, so just on that point, thanks, Kelly. Give her a hand. So making sure that you've got a structure in the business for communication. If there's no structure in the business for communication, what will likely happen to communication? It's not going to be there, or it's going to be sporadic, okay? It'll only be a communication when it's a bad communication, because once it's blown up or something. Who's ever had that where you left it, there was words not said, only down the point for something to blow up? Please raise your hand if you've done that. Good. Would have you sorted that out if you'd had more structure of communication along the way? Yes or no? Yeah, you would have. Good stuff. Couple more. What else you got? Yes, sir. What I say. Good. So good point. So just being more honest with your communication when you do it is what you're saying, Pete. Good stuff. Give him a hand. Yep. Tell me more.
Basically, look to enable more trust between your team members.
Yes.
And as that trust opens, I feel that they will disclose more to you and you can disclose more to them.
It's great. Great point. So more trust. Yes, ma'am. Okay, you're going to go back to my rules of the game. I love that. I can't even see those. Just read them out. What were you talking about? Which one? Which is your favourite there out of what you just said? No judgment. Okay, is teaching your team or your business and having rules around judgment good or bad? It's good, all right? It's very healthy. Okay, do people, if they're not aware of that, are they judgmental with their upbringing or however they got to your business in most cases? Yes or no? Yeah, most people are going to have some prejudice to something that, hey, you didn't do, or hey, I've got this, etc., etc. So by clearing that up at the front end, there's a really good rule that you can go back on there. There's some businesses in the room that have very strong beliefs around what they're doing. Okay? James, I'm looking at yours there. Living healthy is, and being well-being. But then we might look at McDonald's and go and really make them wrong when they just might not have enough information. That's why they've got their business model. So there's different themes to that. So judgment's a big one. I love that. Give her a hand. Daniel, I'm going to keep moving. Thank you. So, guys, to move, if you want a successful life, you want an amazingly successful business, the idea is this. We move this line that way, we move the horizontal this way. This is what your amazing life looks like, you guys. Grab a pen. Sorry, I've stuffed up. Don't write that. Do not write what I just did. So, by me listening more and me disclosing more, guess where the arena is then, you guys? Here's the arena right here. Is that cool or cool? So we're going to be listening more, be more vulnerable, disclose more so that I can get more traction. You want amazing life? You want amazing business? Do this chart right here. The other one over there, what's it say? What's it say, everyone? Come on. Pre-coaching. That's how most people arrive at my front door. Heaps of defensiveness, no listening, and a heap of mask. Okay, it depends on the person, but there's a good flip chart. You heard some amazing results this morning on those microphones. Who would agree with me? Okay, that's because their arena is way bigger than they first started. Everyone cool with that? Okay, good.